You are people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double fold inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nano-technology, the nano-material which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid. It's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
You're invited to partake in the creation of humanity's first Universal Community Council on April 21st and 22nd, 2016 in Dubai at the One Planet, One Nation, One Race Conference. World leaders and prominent business persons have been invited to attend. However, representatives of the Council will be selected irrespective of language, race, creed, or position in life. The Council will have many responsibilities. It will support the people of humanity and their governments. It will help bring balance across the globe and unite humanity for the benefit of all mankind. It will act as a bridge between humanity and the universal community. The cost of admission to the conference is €750, which includes 1 seat in the main conference room and 3-night stay in one of Dubai's prestigious hotels, 2 persons per room. Discount airfares are also available. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race Conference. You're invited. We hope to see you there.
Okay, welcome everyone to the 105th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And we're here today with Caroline of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And she'll be here with us to help with today's teaching. I hear Mr. Keshe will be arriving maybe a half hour later. And she was looking for a topic to start today with, and I think Caroline could handle something along the lines of working with emotions, or perhaps some way that we can work the emotional aspect into the conversation here. Caroline, are you ready to speak on something there?
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome from all over the world. And you have given me a typical topic.
I hate to be so unspecific, but you know, maybe there's some.
I lost you.
I was thinking maybe there's something that you have on your mind that you could talk about.
Yes.
Hello?
I just started and hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I think I heard Mr. Keshe. Maybe he arrived right now.
Yeah, maybe they've muted just temporarily here until they get set up, I presume.
Because I heard his voice, yeah.
Right. Okay, so that sounds good. In the meantime, we'll have Stanley sing for us. Oh, no, I guess not. Hi, that Mr. Keshe.
Yeah, it just arrived. Just
in time delivery once again here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You ready to go, or have you started?
Yes, we've begun. We've had our initial beginning videos there, and I made the announcement for the 105th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And we put Caroline on the spot, and she didn't know what the subject was today, so I just sort of introduced it as how to work with emotions. And I'm not sure if that's even remotely close to what you'd like to talk about today, so I'll let you take it away.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning to you, however you listen to these teachings. Sorry, I'm just late. I was in an important meeting, and yesterday I missed the teaching for the same kind of reasons. What is important for us as part of what we usually do is to announce the part of what is happening. As we said from this week, I explained that on Tuesday in the teachings, that due to the legal steps which is taken by structure of the security forces and what has happened and the things we had on the Keshe Foundation in respect to people, what I call in the French language, urinating in front of a child, this is considered totally illegal and a criminal offense on the international scene, and legal actions for this type has taken, as the journal has confirmed, is based everywhere. And showing your penis to a child of 2.5 years is illegal in repeated time if you're not even the father who have a bath with your child. So this takes steps has taken legally, and as we saw with the other gentleman who brought most of the teaching of Thursday down about 8-9 months ago. We announced he was a pedophile and he went to take a revenge. Now the gentleman is in prison in custody. We estimate about 35 to 60 years he has incarceration. So the steps has taken. We will not speak about Red Circle anymore because now it's a criminal case and legally will be binding. And we wait till another 6 months, 8 months till the incarceration takes place, maybe sooner. In this case, we don't know. The same goes with the two ladies which have been attacking the foundation. Security forces have found a lot of information confirming they are connected to what we said. So, as we said last year when we started the procedure with the securities, we will not talk about it anymore. From today, we are on the same position. We will not speak about the Red Circle and the organization behind it, as now it's enough proof. He's admitted to it himself. And at the same time, with the two ladies who have come into the scene as a backup, because apparently there's a lot of powerful evidence that they're heavily involved in different things, and we cannot be part of it. So now we started the case again. Now we'll see where we're going to end up when the arrest and other things happen in the coming months. We'll talk about it. On the other hand, the work of the Keshe Foundation, the conference, peace conference in One Planet, One Nation, One Race in Dubai has reached the point of we got another 20 or 30 odd days left before the meeting. We are still in Dubai organizing things for it to be done. Those of you who are needing a visa, please send your passports to the email is being given to you, a copy of your passport. They organize the visa for you. The position is that we will take what you call a backseat point of view on this till the meeting happens, takes place, and everything as possible has been done to make it as comfortable as possible for a lot of people. On the other hand, we have started a course of action which has got a lot of applications for different nationalities and governments in how we are supplying and providing. On the other hand, as you know, the Keshe Foundation Manufacturing Group in America is all signed in. They are on the phase of producing first preliminary documents and what you call the setting up of the factories. And these things will take the next couple of months or so. We should see the first production of US production companies, Keshe Foundation companies. A number of Keshe Foundation, what I call, will be signed in. And hopefully, sometime in next week, 10 days, we'll meet each other up in China. We're setting up the Chinese Keshe Foundation and the rest of it. There's a huge announcement, which is a very big success, I have to say, to the Keshe Foundation Italians. Giovanni, on Sunday the 21st, between 5:30 and 9 o'clock, there is a meeting of all the Italians in the Keshe Foundation, in the center, the Keshe Foundation Center, SSI, in Barletta. I've been told the hall is fully booked, or they have got people that they start the celebration of the beginning of the Keshe Foundation Specialship in Italy in Italian. And from Monday the 22nd, the teaching starts. There's a very qualified, very competent number of people I've seen on the list which Giovanni has set up. So this is the second Keshe Foundation Specialship language which has started officially. And the third one hopefully will be done when we're in China for the Chinese community, and then the others are coming up in the back of it. Is Giovanni online by any chance that he can tell us, and we congratulate you for it?
Mr. Keshe, it's Monday 21st.
Monday 21st. Okay. But the party is on a Sunday. They have a party in the building celebrating the beginning on Sunday, the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, so is Giovanni around? He can tell us what he's done, or he's too busy organizing somewhere. Doesn't anyone see Giovanni in the background?
I don't see him on the list of participants.
Is Fabio online? He's in the center.
I tried to contact him.
Yeah, it's all right. Giovanni wants to come and promote it. Stanley and Vince, what do you call it? The Zoom for broadcasting of this has to be available by Sunday, that they can, what do you call it? It's on live, it's for all the Italians across the world. It's not just for the people in Valletta. So we need a full Zoom facilities that they can broadcast across the world. Anybody can see the opening of the Keshe Foundation Italian section.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they need their full support worldwide for their Zooms by tonight. That they're teaching on Monday. That is as in order. Hopefully, when we start our program in China, it'll be the same. We participate in the opening of the Keshe Foundation teaching centers in China and the teaching program. They say they have about 100 teachers to teach, and we'll cover the full spectrum in China. Hopefully, in China, we will achieve a lot of progress with different aspects of the technology. And there are a number of technologies which we are developing in the background that will be gifted to the nation of Chinese nation by the Keshe Foundation through the Keshe Foundation of China. Don't forget, when we meet and we arrive in China, we are the guest of the Chinese people, Keshe Foundation. And so we represent the Keshe Foundation in respect to our work with the, what I call the officials. Those of you who are from Keshe Foundation China and you're listening, please make sure all the facilities are available for us, that we can show what you've done, and in negotiating with the government and military, we can show the benefit which the technology can bring into it, even though we have a strong support within the structure. We need a lot of ganses of different ones. You have your, what I call maglev units, your what I call card units. We bring with us a number of new technologies. So we need as much as everything possible, because I'll be speaking there, but you demonstrate it to your nation, to your government, to your military, how the Chinese energy can be supported. We don't need to build huge dams. There was a calculation done recently by one of our supporters in China. If we can deliver enough systems with what is already available, the big dam which is built in China, and they had to move tens of millions of people to build it, these systems can save that much as speaking and building one of these dams again. So the saving is huge. The saving is huge for the nation. And it's responsibility of the Chinese to deliver this technology to the government. I'm there just as what I call between what I call Rick and Vince. They call me the jack in the box. I pop in when I'm needed. So I'm just jack in the box there. It's you who deliver it to your nation. We are a facilitator. Our name, our position is there to facilitate, to show the beauty of what you have achieved to your own nation, to your own government. So please, you have done health sections, you have done the medical sections, you have done medical facility report. Have all these ready for when we arrive, that we call upon you to show it to your government. It's not done by us. We are there to make the ground and merge the two sides together. The Keshe Foundations of China, all the supporters, will become, Chinese are a proud people in serving their nation. You become part of the organization with the government to work together. How we're going to do it, we'll see how is beneficial for the nation, not for what we need. We're there, as I said, as a facilitator. We are there for you to show the technology. I'm there to support you, and as the number of presentations. As it's been said, will be kept in very highly secure military bases, not in public. So it is important for us that we stay in line with all our work, with the what do you call it, with the government. Again, I thank Professor Zhou and Professor Ji for organizing all this hard work which is going in the background. And I would like to thank all the officials within the Chinese government who are supporting it, and especially Lisa, who's organizing a lot of things in the background for Keshe Foundation. I said to Lisa last year, we meet in April next year, can we have a conference? When we had the May conference, and now you see it happen exactly in April, we are arriving. So in so many ways, we'll see how we go and how we can hopefully support the Keshe Foundation China. And through the Keshe Foundation China, we will support the other countries and nations which we work with. What is important at the moment for us what is important at the moment for us is that there are two cables. I need another cable for the screen. It's got a double point on it on one end. I need that. That I cannot operate. It's another cable. There's another cable supply. Okay, sorry. So what is important that we see everything is done appropriately in the correct way for all of us. There's a development on the food center, food section, which we spoke with Jackie. And there's other developments which is highly advanced, and we're trying to keep it out of the front till we feel good in responding to it, in getting the attention of the right people for it to be done. The Keshe Foundation Space Program in the world regarding, this is correct, is available. And we'll try to bring that in one of the presentations in coming time. So we will show you how the what I call this LMDH wire I need. It's downstairs. That will show how things are done and how much we have achieved and how much we can achieve through this development. What is important is how we as human race will evolve and how we decide the evolvement. It's us who will decide in the space if we like to evolve. It's us in the space accordingly to what we evolve we can achieve. In the teachings of last couple of weeks, I have explained that in the progress to space we will lose our digestion system because we don't need to take any more. We will lose our lungs, and this because we manage to absorb energy from our environment. But what is important is that it's us who decide the level of change. It's us who decides how much we want to change. Part of it will be forced on us due to the condition of absorption. Part of it will be forced on us due to wanting to be a free person and free from all the attachments. One thing which is important is how we decide the evolution in the part which is in our hand, but we have already agreed to part of it to start with. This means that it's us who will decide to what extent we want to evolve. As I was explaining on Tuesday's teaching, the evolution, if we look at the plants, is very, very direct. Over the time, a plant has decided, I want to be able to be free that every bird, every insect which comes across me will take my flower to somewhere else, then I can produce and reproduce. Some plants, they decided they would like to have a thorn, that certain size animals cannot come in. Some, they decide to open their flower in a different shape, and some they use their flowers to feed themselves. So the flowers have decided the evolution which has not been open to man. We have evolved mainly according to the structure of the environment or conditions we've been forced into. Man has never realized up to now that he can decide his own genetic melt. He can decide his own evolution. And with this new technology, this is what is in the hand of the man. And this is what is scaring a lot of you. A lot of you who listen to these teachings, you're getting scared. What's going to happen? Because you have lost the trust in yourself that you can decide what the evolution is going to be. You can decide, I want to be detached. You can decide, I want to be attached, but how much I want to be attached. You can decide if I want to lose and how much I want to lose. And according to that, you adjust your systems. Adjust your system in respect to your interaction with the environment you're flying. You adjust your system in respect to how much you want to change it. I want to be not more than certain distance. I want to be in certain environment. And then accordingly, your body will evolve. So for the first time, we have just managed to become just about, just a little bit, to the level of the plants, the vertical people. So you can see how far behind we are, even though human race, they think they are the king of the animals. They may consider themselves as the king of the animals on the what I call the horizontal people, but in respect to vertical, what I call creations of this planet, we are far, far behind. We have not managed to decide the color of our own eyes. We have not managed to decide the height we want to be. We have not managed to decide in what shape we want to appear, fat, slim, twisted. But the plant kingdom has already achieved that. They decide the color of their pebbles. They decide the height of the thorn. They decide the shape of their leaves and what they like to take from the environment in respect to that, what the leaf shape. A lot of us as a scientists and the people who are involved in the world of science have not understood this. That what I call sea animals and vertical people are much more advanced than man, and man's lack of knowledge has given this false safety that he is the best and he knows everything. Look at the fishes, they can change the color of their skin when they want. They can decide how deep they want to go without using an oxygen mask or anything else. They decide in what temperature they want to operate in. As human beings, we don't have such a say. We just go because the environment dictates. We have not managed to take control of our own evolution to be. We have adjusted to the environment we arrived. For the first time, man has a choice. And this choice comes in a very easy way. How much of the animal behavior you are prepared to give up to become part of universal community. How far are we prepared to lose our digestion system, our breathing system, now that we know how to make systems that by thinking of the food, we receive the energy of the food. Does humanity been given a chance to be a decision maker of his own destiny in deep space? But this decision making brings with it a lot of responsibility. It brings with it a condition that how much, which organ, to what level you want to give up. Or on the other hand, you have the same capability. I'm giving up my intestine, my digestion system, my liver, my storage. Now I would like to have something else which makes it easier for me to absorb more energy when I need it. I'll give as much as I want. It's not all one-way system. You get a chance to adapt, to create a condition for generation of the new organs and new pieces which can help you in space. Some races in space have developed the understanding and the technology that they can evolve according to the energy storage they need to carry. Which means, would we change our liver to a new gas system storage battery? Because that's all we need to do. The spectrum of the energies we need to store, but we cannot use the physical matter like liver. We only can use the energy gas structure of the system. Would we evolve into the point that we will and we can create out of our liver a plasma condition that allows us to operate with a new storage facilities? Or would this storage facility will be like a sphere in a way that stores a spectrum of energies for us? These are all the new possibilities. We have seen some of you who are testing and trying, are dithering between the two, want to, not to, but in the coming time we will have no choice. We will have no choice in how we will evolve, because part of the evolution of our body will be enforced on us by the amount of energies and the way we absorb energy. Would some of us lose our bone structure? Because in becoming transparent and becoming knowing that we don't need to walk, we can decide our own position, is a bone a necessary thing in space? Because there is no land to walk on, and now we learn new process. These are all which is happening. It will happen in the next 12 months. The way we see the development going, we will see evolution. And because this evolution is on a plasmatic level, it will be very, very rapid. It's extremely rapid. In so many ways, we have no choice. It's the decision we made, and the way as what we've seen with RLS and with what I call MS and other problems, people will change the same way. This is too hot. I'm boiling. It's too hot in here. It's boiling. So this is what is happening. What is the next step? Can we decide? But the problem is, how do we decide? Part of the teaching from now on, it will show you the process of the evolution. The process of being able to control the evolution. The process to be able to interact, and in interacting, being able to force the condition which we want it to be for our own existence. Do we want to go to the limit of losing without controlling, or do we want to go to the limit that we hold on to most of the things we have, but we control the change that we feel safe with? How do you control it? How do you exert forces to change you where you want to? It's very easy. When you start the process of what I call evolution in absorbing energy, you start in a way consciously and unconsciously to decide which and what is needed in the part of organs that you think you might not be a need for it. In most of the cases, the changes will come in a very beautiful way, that a lot of people who are the first generation of the conversion, they decide to hold on to some parts in case if we go back. In case if I don't like what I'm receiving. In so many ways, we buy ourselves a part-time insurance policy. I want to hold on to the intestines, I want to hold on to the liver, I want to hold on to this part till I'm happy that I can fit into the space. Into the space community. Do I understand the languages? But the beauty of it is, when you enter and decide to make the change, and you want to be instrumental in the change that you decide, then you find out, oh, I can see parallel and others who live the life which I'm afraid of living. What about if I lose this, but I keep it in the background? And then in interacting, we find out that in a simple way, we've been afraid of nothing. Something which is not there, a phantom. In so many ways, we see the operation of this evolution. Do I need to catch or get or bring something to my mouth to eat? Or do I absorb what I need the way I need, but I still want to know what I'm eating? I don't trust my emotion yet. And this was, for example, stated very clearly by Alex on Tuesday. He touches anything, he tastes them, he gets the energy. So he gets a confirmation that he's getting it. He's getting the energy from what he's touching. But Jackie has gone a step further than Alex. He trusts in what he sees, that he receives it. What he feels, that he receives it if he wants to. So, very strange point. A lot of you missed in the talking on the Tuesday between Alex and Jackie. Very, very interesting. But this is the proof that how much we will change in so many ways. I explained it in one way and we got the answer. But the real answer was not in the question which was the way it was asked. It was about what was not said. If you remember, I asked Jackie and the others if they've lost weight. And they said, yes, we lost weight. Small, a little. But none of them said they got fat. Nobody has got fat on it. Because so now that you can access to the full universal energy, why don't you balloon up? In reality, if you understood the whole teaching, according to what we've seen up to now, these guys now have access to a full pot of energy, and they can have whatever they like. They can eat 20 bananas and 30, God knows, can of beer. They can drink what they like. But now, they lost weight. You say, okay, because they dieted, they're not eating. So, in fact, are they changing the physical matter energy to the universal matter energy? And the body knows, according to the emotion, what size it has to be. Would it come the time that they might see themselves in a danger and they tap into the universal energy and they might go in size 100 times bigger or 3 times bigger because it fits that environment they're in? Now we've seen is not the loss of the weight due to not eating, is if they have access to all the energies, why don't they go fat? Why don't they put so much on? This is the way how the universal system works. Because emotion has a strength field, and in that spectrum of energy field, if it's satisfied, it does not take anymore. But the position is now, now that we reach the position of the balanced state in what we need, would we reach the state of all of us having the same expectation? That we want to be happy, we want to be not hungry, we want to not to depend on the clothes, we all want to be able to be wherever we like to be. Would this mean, because of the emotion and these given the strength is more or less the same, all human race will look the same. We all become silverish or black or blue or whatever, but when we see that color in space, oh, these are the guys from the Earth. But what about in this evolution when you lose your bones? This is one of the main things that will happen to us, because calcium is an element, still matter state in the body of the man. So we will replace part of our bone structure with the same kind of emotion, with the same kind of legs and arms, but with no bones in it, because bone is the only matter state gas which exists on this planet, not in the space. So you will be walking, but not with a bone structure. If you realize your brain has already programmed for this, because you do it so naturally, as I explained before, that you don't even think about it. What happens every time you raise a foot to put in front of the other one? You call it the retraction of muscles and the other muscles moving the opposite way. What about that in reality, your brain has already programs built up in it that at this height, because you don't forget all your structure inside, your muscles, your tissues, everything is in the gas state, I want to have such a strength. So when it reaches to such a strength, it's as high as you can bring your leg up, or you can walk. So in operation of the motion, we already have in our brain, in the emotional side, physical side has tried to give it a stick. We call it the bone. But when we can control everything directly to our emotion, do we need this structure, what we call the bone? Is it part of our structure? Is it something we need? Or by losing the bones, but in a way keeping the structure of the body as it is, we still walk. We might walk a slightly funny way because now there are no bones, no sticks to hold it together, but the field strength is the same in holding it together. Then we macro position ourselves. The other problem which in deep space you'll face, how am I going to change my lungs? Digestion system was one thing, structure is one thing, but how can I trust that I can let my essence of my emotions in the interaction of the fields, I can let go. Some of you might decide, I'm going in a slow way. I'm going to go very, very slow way. I let part of the function of the lung to still be there. You become hybrids, like the animals can live in the water and on the dry land. You become a tap hole with the option of motion, but you decide. You decide if I'm prepared to let part of the function of the lung to be changed with another system, which is just specialized in the energy system which is needed for emotion from the universe. You understand something very interesting, and man has been so passive to this. Let's explore a fact about a human being. Look at the structure of your body and see and learn from the failure of one and success of the other. And see, in this time that you are evolving, you want to change the things slightly. Look at your physical structure. If I put my hand on my mouth, and I can control it, I will die within a matter of a minute or two. when the second cycle or the third cycle of oxygen cannot be taken in to absorb the energy level which is needed for the emotional part of the body of the man. This human body has a failure system and is cause of all majority of his death. This is the same with all the animals on this planet, because they were created out of the gaseous part, and then in interaction with the matter part, they got their physicality. They have this problem. That's why we smash a fly on the table and he dies, because we literally stop his breathing. We damage his breathing cycle to start with. We get a fish, he tries to breathe, but he stops, because he cannot convert so much of it so fast, because he still converts some of the energy of the water hydrogen, but he cannot do so much in the air. It's too much. It needs a thickening. We call it the water. So where is the failure in the human body? In this structure of the creation on this planet, the biggest failure is we have never made an energy storage for our emotion. On our physical part, we did. We called it the liver. That's why you can go on without eating for days, for months. Because what do? You go to the reserve tank. It's the liver. Where do you think your energy comes from? When I don't eat, but I still need the same kind of energy, where are you tapping into? Your liver. But in our breathing side, we have never ever organized a storage system. So in the process of the evolution, you have to do this. It has to be part of your priority. Storage for energy, for the emotional strength, which is your main part. So you see, in this process of evolution, you have to think about a lot of things, because now you're the master. Because the last time you left it to the physicality, physicality has taken the emotion to slavery by not allowing it to produce its own energy storage. Because if it did, so when I put my hand on the face, doesn't matter, I have a tank, I can go for 2 or 3 days. I use that energy strength for my emotion from the tank. So in this process of evolution, when you start deciding to become man of space, and a lot of you, I told you, gradually go through the physical change of the stomach, and now you have to think about the most vital piece, the energy storage for the emotional side. But something very crucial about this. In this energy storage, doesn't matter you sphere your lung into a ball or whatever, or you decide the easiest way is, why should I get energy brought in, converted, and then try to pump it, and then spread the energy? What about if I just make a unit out of the heart, which absorbs the total energy which it needs, and it distributes? So as part of your evolution is to replace the lungs with the heart, which goes out of its shape. It still can have its palpation if it likes, but now it becomes an energy plasma unit, which now that it doesn't have any air, it uses the energy of the universal plasma. It taps to what is available, and at the same time, because it's become a plasma of itself, it becomes its own storage system too. But it decides how much of the energy it likes to release out of what is stored. So you see, the process of evolution to become man of space has a lot of decision making by the man himself. So how? You've seen how simply we have replaced the lungs with the heart, but the heart, which is not just a pumping station, but it becomes absorption system as well. You already have advantage system with the heart. Because of its chambers and the strength which chambers accept in spreading the Energy, as I said, two of the chambers are pumping and two of the chambers are sucking. In a way, each one is built. One is for the lymph, one is for the emotion, one is for different part of the body of the man, if you go back to the teachings. And each one has a different suction strength, because it can, it's not the sucking, but is what strength energy it likes to absorb. So the evolution of the heart to become the energy source, but at the same time, because of becoming a plasma, it can stay as a storage source as well. It allows the man to become independent of the air. But what is the problem? What's the next position? Air was the essence of the creation of the man to start with. The amino acid came from the air. The production of the amino acid led to the creation of the man in interaction with the physicality. So now in the space, where do we find the amino acid to create the man? This is the next question. This is the biggest stumbling block for a lot of people. Where and how I can reproduce that is based on the amino acid of this planet, and I can survive and I can reproduce to give love and be loved by. Do we need to enter a dimension of total independence, but independent on the new source and new life? Do we still need to have food? Now we know how we can absorb the energy of it without eating it. Or do we go in the process of giving food knowing that we receive what we want from it? Do we change in the process of the strength? That do we need the muscles to even move? Where we can create a flexible reactor system, which is already in all our structures, to move around as fast as we like, instantaneously across the universe. But in that process will be transparent. Because transparency shows there is nothing, and when you are transparent, fields and positions are accommodated for you to move in the way that you feel. These are far away from understanding of the man, but the man will evolve into what has been said this morning, because you have no choice. It's a Pandora box which we have opened and has no end. Man has become the creation of the planet, but now has become the passenger of the universe. You stay in so many ways attached to the earth till you are emotionally ready to become part of a bigger structure. And then when you are ready, you shall see. It's you who has blinded you because of the emotion you carry. So in a very simple way, now we see how the man has started the evolution and how the man can control this evolution itself. But the point is, when you get to that point, that you decide what you want to have and what is going to be the package of energy for the time you need it, then comes all of you will receive the power to, in a way, to produce what you need when you need. You can imagine, I want to have a bouquet of roses for my loved one. Do you need to uncut the rose? Or because you created the imagination of the rose in the energy levels the way same as you thought you wanted to have an orange from the system, and you tasted and you felt the orange, now the process is reverse. I know what orange is. I want to give an orange or any of your orange that my child feels to receive the orange. Your systems are Maghreb system. They take and they give. What you take, he can give too. So now you understand how the system works. You want to feed the child. Do you need to breastfeed? The breastfeeding is just for him to digest your energy, to become in the gas state that he can use. Now you give the energy in the gas state to start with. Is there a need for a milk? Do we need to still breastfeed our children? But now on, we decide. From now on, we are the creator. I made man in the image of myself, not in physicality, but in emotion too. Man is too physical. What about this emotion? Do we want to bring the emotion in line with our physicality? Or do we want to live in an emotional life without physicality? This is the choice the man has today. This is the choice which we have open to humanity. And it's for us to decide the next step, much like the way you see people from different part of this planet, with different intelligence, with a different understanding and different emotions. And you see the people of the same group, same area, follow the same kind of emotions. Because this is what that environment creates for man, to carry the same emotion and the same feeling. I was explaining to Caroline a few days ago something very, very interesting. As you know, we evolved according to what we ate in the environment which we are, and majority because we take huge amount of water from the water we drink. If you are in Alp and you drink from the bottled water in Alp, this is your home ground. You are what it's made of. But now we see that water had effect on your emotion. This is why the Swiss are this way, or the Italian and the other part of the Alp are a different way, because the water here is slightly different. It's gone through different geological part of the planet, and that geological part creates a specific strength which creates what I call romantic Italians. Now we have a huge problem. That water and the food in that area created the emotion and sentimentality of the Italians, and the resolution of the way the Swiss work. There is a crank in the job now. We are shipping these waters across the planet in different bottles. Are we shipping, let's say, 1 million bottles per day from one area to another? And if the water was in essence the fingerprint emotion of the Italians which came from that part, would the guy who drinks the same water in Australia and he only wants water from that part of the Italy will become an Aborigine with the emotion of the Italian? Because the water was the essence of the creation of the man and survival of the man in that part of the planet. So are we becoming more or less, without knowing it, a homogeneous race? Because we are eating each other's food, which was essentially us, and we are breathing each other's air, and now we are drinking each other's, which is the essential backbone of your emotion energy field transfer. So, have we, by evolving in becoming industrialists and the way becoming people who understand, want to have and to be good, are we creating a clone of ourselves in emotion in different part of the world, or physicality in different part of the world, because we are importing and shipping goods from the environment which created that specific condition? Are we seeing Chinese looking Italians because they drink water from only from Italy? Or what about the French water? do we see a bunch of Chinese romantic, very fascinating people because they only drink the water from France. Don't forget, the fingerprint and energy of the water in that area led and held and created the romantic people. So, you understand what is going to happen to us in deep space. We take energy from other parts of the universe of the creation of the God. Would we become the man of space and the behavior of the spaceman? So, would us, by evolving to become man of space, in being able to tap into the energy of the universal cycle, which is created to calm existence, would that feed us to become the same? The problem with Keshe Foundation today, one of the biggest problems, we will have so many enemies, is not that we are the man of peace. It's not that we are promoting peace through technology. The problem is the ones who made the guns to kill and see the armies and militaries as a way to insert their power, see there is no use for them. They are fighting with hands and gloves and kick as much as they can. That's why we see we do not take from them. We give to them that to elevate to our level. This is why we see so much opposition by the governments like US, Canada, France, Belgium. Because the backbone of their economy comes on selling arms to kill. How can they become nation of peace? A recent report which is released on Keshe Foundation and my work by the American government, CIA, and the Canadian intelligence reads very nicely. We are terrorists because we promote peace. There is not much credibility in the action of this man, because now every man is using his technology. We are getting access to confidential reports of the governments who issue on our behalf. When a new government goes to Canadians and Americans, they say, this is it, this guy is dangerous, he's promoting this and that and energy and is not good. But the interesting is, the nations are receiving these and they say, how come he's so bad? Why he is not where they say? And they are creating a very good environment for us because the nations are listening. There must be something in it. This is the problem. By you deciding the evolution and receiving the energy from the universe, understanding the possibilities of not relying to kill, which has been the habit of the man, being a tree, being an animal, being another man, now they have to become us. And this is where the world peace process starts. By us sacrificing our own evolution to be man of peace, we change them to become like us, because in doing so, we decide on the bandwidth of the energy which the body of the man needs, and through in that position, because we came from each other, we enforce it on them. Without them having a say that they lose their animal behavior. The process is very simple. The understanding is very hard. A lot of you, thank you very much. A lot of you see a lot of opposition because now we are doing it without relying on anyone to do it for us. We are evolving according to our own intentions. Some of us which will criticize and do these things are the people who want to carry on with the same abuse. Because it has brought them a lot. It has brought them huge amount of lot. As you know, in the Middle East, and then we choose the next home. to evolve the man as a totality, because wherever we go, we bring new energy into the cycle of the nations. We brought a new energy into the Italians. As we announced now on Sunday, they opened their teaching center. Next, now in Dubai. We have achieved a lot, but in a way, the governments were blind of such establishment organization. And now opening their eyes, they do not know handle how. The Americans are advising them, the guy is a terrorist, but the Severis is gone, he's giving everything free. And the Canadian says he's all nonsense, but how come he's making factories and people are buying it? Because now the nations start looking how ridiculous all this fabrication comes. So in the process of delivering and living the life, we enlighten that they absorbed our energy. And then we start the process of the peace. We start the process of the change. We start the process of everything else. You understand what happened? If you remember, we left Belgium, and the Belgians, before we leave, for 10 years, gave so much false information about the foundation that everybody bought, till we moved out of Belgium to Italy. And we start teaching and everything else. And the Italian government says there is nothing right in what we've received. Now we're going to protect this. With us moving into Middle East, these countries are not aware of such a technology. Even if you have huge supporters at the government level, there was no such a thing. And then our enemies, in a way, they want to keep the killing going and everything. They bombarded the Middle Eastern nations, that this guy is a terrorist and the rest of it. And they seen how we live, they say how we distribute knowledge, and they start asking questions. They went to the Americans, they went to the Canadians, and the Canadians say the same thing as it comes, but they say this doesn't add up. How much now, up to now, Belgium became the liar. Now the Americans and Canadians and others like them are becoming liars, because this is bringing benefit to us. It has forced them to sit down and watch every teaching. And these scientists, these police forces, these military people, these security people are literally understanding there's a new chance. Thank you very much for writing all the shit, because now it has come back to you. It has become the asset for the foundation. Because now the technology is opening in a different way, because okay, whatever you say, next time in a generation, when you change yourself with the energy of the heart, with the energy of the new liver system, no one can lie. Because the transparency and equality, if I'm not lying, and you are not lying, we shouldn't see any colors. But if I'm not lying, I know I'm not lying and you're lying, my field and your fields are different. It creates a color, I call this one the color of lie. I don't need to speak the language. And we have seen, and we have started seeing a lot of color of lies, a lot of color of murders, because now they cannot do. This is where we are walking into. We are walking into the cycle where we create energy with the creation of the energy of love, equality, and being correct for ourselves. And because now that we know the level, we can judge. We don't judge. We look at the interaction of the fields. There is no need for a spoken word. You're listening to me. Thousands of you listen to this. Tens of millions of people listen to these teachings. What happens? You wait for the voice, and I can tell you something. I can make emotional position of strength, which I know fits every man on this planet, and I can make you all cry. And every name we will call on the panel, they'll be crying. I can do that make you to laugh. And everyone we put, they will not stop laughing. Never seen you. But I release the energy which is in human race, is called the laughter strength. Or the cry strength. And you've seen how Jackie explained to us that what he needs and the other people, and you tested yourself, the taste of the orange. One thing you forgot in the whole process, that you put the orange on top of the cup, you drank the water and you tasted and it smelled like orange. In fact, you have already received it because you wanted it and developed it. But now you confirm to yourself, oh, this is what I received. Does your emotion will dictate the future of mankind? The answer is yes. I had to make all sorts of gadgets, all sorts of systems. You had to have the guns, you had to have the, what they call it, the coils and the cores. But what about if we choose a planet on the solar system, and we choose 2 or 3 other planets in the solar system, and we decide each set will be part of the star formation, and in that process, us on this planet become the 4th. In that way, if we do, and we decide, do we need 3 sets of a star formation to receive energy from it the way we want? Or can we use and tap in the energy of this planetary system, or what we call the solar system? You see, you understand only according to your intelligence. You only can comprehend at the level which you can increase your emotion, or you can comprehend your own emotion. When there is a conflict between the emotion and physicality, we get anger. That's why physically go anger, because emotion cannot see the work of the physicality. But what about if we bring the strength of the emotionality equal to the physicality, that there is no conflict, and we make the sign of peace, the level of strength energy of the peace. So you have systems for comparison. You have your emotion in respect to your physicality, and then now you can start slowly creating the colors of the universe communication language. If I feel happy emotionally, and my physicality as it is, this should be the color of happiness, contentment, joy, reproduction, whatever. All I need to show is this, that I am in peace with myself and my physicality in respect to my emotion, and this is the color of it. Because this is the color that I don't take too much, and I give that little which is not needed, that I can confirm my existence, but I can give to the others to see, then we start learning the process of universal language. We start learning how us become the reference point for the universal language. It's us who becomes the reference point for the others to understand the languages of the universe. And then, because we achieve this, the other souls will evolve accordingly. You become the cancer of peace, you become the cancer of equality, and we see cancer doesn't become a big ball, but starts with a seed. So those of you who understood the teaching of this morning, you understand one thing. Every one of you is a Messiah, according, if you understood what the word means. It means to bring peace, to be the savior of the man himself from his own wrongdoing. Not to bring peace for the world, because when you're at peace with yourself, you create the environment of peace. I am the Mahdi, and the beginning and the end. So, In so many ways, we stand for our own action according to the interaction we create from the others in respect to us. Because now we stand correct, the only thing is left for them to become correct. How many of you have been to these teachings? And we've seen with Jackie, we've seen now in Canada with Ali, we see now the Innovation Center in Philippines, and a large number of you are creating different systems. How many of you went and you said, I want to taste the orange? And you had the orange. How many of you have listened to you that now we say, oh, we don't feel hungry anymore, we take what we want, we give what we want, and I give first and I take, because you're following your path. I'm going to ask you a question, this is a judge of yourself. How many of you in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks running these systems asked one question? I want the energy of peace, to be in peace with myself. Or the greed of physicality gives you the confirmation of the existence of the man. How many of you stood in front of the system, we put it on the net, and all you could ask was, give me the energy of love. That with it I can love, which means I give unconditionally. How many of you stood for 1 second to ask to receive the energy of peace? And with it, give the energy of peace at the beginning, that when the system receives it, it spreads it across the planet. You're too greedy to see what you give out as excrement, as urinate, but you go to the system to take, but you have not matured enough to understand the system gives you what you need, is your intention to receive. How many of you have asked, I want the energy of peace? It has a taste, it has a joy. I tell you, none. You ask for energy of love because means I want to give, but I want to receive, to taste it. I want to love people. Now you know these systems can feed not only emotion, but your physicality. How many of you, next time when you stand in front of these systems, you put in public, to ask for the energy of peace? For me to be at peace with myself. That my heart becomes a new plasma of energy which does not need the lung, and my new energy plasma liver will take what it needs, that it brings balance between my emotion in my heart and my liver, which is my physicality, that I am at peace, I see no light, and I become transparent. Maybe now you understand why the heart is positioned so close to the liver. In becoming in no conflict, they become one. And then you become the man of the universe. We are too physical to take what we need. We are too animal to take only what we need and just walk on 2 legs. But would we learn from now on not to take from the system, but only give to the system? Because we know we take what we need. I tried to teach a lot of you who were in with Jackie's that the first time, the first week, they were busy taking, oh, it tastes good, we are so good. One got drunk, one got God knows high, one got emotional. In the process of the teaching, I taught you, you have to give to receive. A lot of you start doing that because you think, oh, I have to be right, I'm not taking without. But now go to the next step of maturity of the man. What about, I only give, I want nothing from the system. Then would I become to the status of the prophet of the past, that they gave their lives to serve humanity? Or do I become the sunlight of the Creator that it only gives because He knows He will receive what is there to be received, for Him to recycle, that He can give more, that the others can be created? Because in the physicality we have a limitation, and that limitation leads to our tangibility, where the love of the Creator is unlimited. So even our own physical existence is the limitation of our own acceptance of the creation's love. It's us who has limited us with our physical condition, where now if you learn the process of the creation, you can elevate yourself to the soul of the love of the creation, unconditional, untangible, and equal to the rest. A lot of people ask me, what? You claim to be the Messiah. I don't claim to be the Messiah. I claim to understand the working of the universe, which gives me what it needs to be a Messiah. I am the Mahdi. I am the return of Christ. I am the return of Buddha, or any name you want to call it, because I understand the work of the soul of the servants of the God, which means you got to be part of to be able to understand it. So next time when you stand in front of your system, just give, without the worry what I might take. Then, and if you can keep to that path, you will understand the totality. You understand that how come I don't get fat? Now I've learned I can tap into universal energy, whatever I want. Why don't you have a feast of every food you could ever imagine and not get fat? Because if you haven't seen, the key is that in this position, with this new structure, your body only takes what it can bring balance between its physicality and its emotion, that become at peace. And this sees the change of physicality, and in coming near to each other, balance with the peace inside. So in so many ways is it our expectation that has brought to us the limitation. And in that limitation, we manifest ourselves, because that's as much as we can carry from the love of the Creator. And the answer is yes. Now that you've learned a new way to give, and you can follow it and do it, you will find out, is there a need for the physicality of the man to confirm his existence, where he knows he exists in all dimensions of the creation. I am the Creator. It needs a lot of maturity, because if you come to the point that you decide to become physical again, so that becomes your new limit of understanding. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. There is a question in the Q&A from Mariel, who says, Mr. Kesh, with the giving to the plasma system, we enable the balancing of the emotions. Could this balancing result in some physical symptoms presenting, which are connected to the balancing of emotions experienced during traumas experienced in the past, but not resolved, or as yet connected with on a conscious matter state level?
The beginning of this question has a mistake in it. A huge mistake, which answers the rest itself. You want to read the first line?
With the giving to the plasma system, we enable the balancing of the emotions. Is that the assumption there?
Yes, exactly. We don't give the balance of emotion. We give the balance of the emotion and physicality together because they are now both at field. This is again the mistake of the man. He wants to think what he's giving, but he doesn't understand that the system takes both physicality energy, which is not needed, as much as the emotion, because now we hear the people who are doing these things, they say they don't go to toilet much. The urinating is finished more or less, a little bit. So the body balances both. And then because it gives but it doesn't need, or it thinks another entity needs what he has, because now it works on the emotional level of the universe, he's giving on the strength of the matter state, which is his physicality grants state too. So that's why you find peace. And in finding that peace, in finding the communication of how to give, because you're not worried, you won't lose much on the emotion and not much on the physicality, you start seeing the cranks where the problem has been. And that you might call it the opening of the emotion of the past, because these emotions is where we put markers, and we would like to keep the markers, because these markers up to now was the reason for us to have a discussion, a fight or argument with ourselves and the others, because we created markers. Now that the soul and the physicality together are giving, receiving what they need, there is no markers. And when these markers appear, they have energy package. They have a language of the emotional strength. And then you call it fear, you might call it joy. Next time when you stand in front of the system, say, I don't want any emotion to be given, but take as much physicality energy as you like. I will tell you what happened to you. You want me to write it down and you see it happen, because then I don't give you preconceived ideas. It is you who's got to learn that you have to give from both equal, according to the level which both want to give equal to guarantee the balance. And it takes a long time before the emotional energy and the physical energy part of the man come to balance, because one has to gain the trust of the other, and one has to go at speed of the slowest. I wonder if we mass weigh a person now, and these people who start building the system and we mass weigh them in, let's say 3 years time or 6 months time, would their mass be the same? I doubt it. The weight might stay, but the mass will not, because the mass changes according to the gravitational magnetic field, the strength of the balance of the energies. So in time measure, or we have to make a scale for measuring the mass of emotion, and we make scale for the mass of physicality. Maybe it gives you an answer. Is it this why the Chinese and ancient, what they call Eastern culture, needs the pulse, which is the emotion, and the tongue shape, which is the color of the physicality, to state everything wrong with the man, emotionally or physically? Because somewhere between the balance of the two, the man who was observing observes the total truth. Because he is connected to both of the emotion, and he sees the color of the physicality on the tongue of the man. Is it why, as I said recently, the Keshe Foundation work has resonated with a lot of Eastern Asian countries? Because they work on the true understanding of the emotion and physicality. Yin and Yang, one is emotion, and one is physicality. And to be perfect, they have to be in balance and equal. Maybe now you understand why in our teaching, people of the East are more in tune to understand it, because on the West it's gone too much toward the black, which is the physicality, and very little to the white, which is the emotion. Where in the East is mainly balance. If you go to Africa, it's mainly white. Black has very little, and that's why the skin of the black goes to Africa. Because that's the side of the physicality, the emotion is pure and white. We have a lot to learn. Any other question?
I wish you could expound a little more on that, this idea of dark and light and so on.
You see, when you are equal in balance, you don't create light, you become transparent. When you absorb everything because you think it's your right to absorb, then you become the nano layer on top of the copper. You even cover the color of your own creator to the darkness. But inside, you're still copper color. The colors, as you say, as is traditionally known, is the color which is not absorbed, is radiated out. But is this the truth? Or is the color which we see is the interaction between the what is in the environment, which is the balance, and what is with the entity itself, which is absorbing and not releasing? Or is it that the balance of the energy in the mass is always to take more because I might need it in the future? The colors, when it's balanced, you see none, you become transparent. The point is a lot with the East Asian culture, especially with Yin and Yin and the two spheres, two half circles which twist inside each other. That other side, the white, should be transparent, but if you make it transparent, you cannot see the darkness of the black. Can we make our emotions transparent to be a giver? That in that process, our physical side, which is the absorbing side of the energy to hold on to, will become transparent too, because then it becomes in balance with the other side. And then if that happens, you have a unified being, totally transparent. Do we have to be absorbing out of the fear that we might not be there to exist? Or can we exist in the knowledge that we are there in totality, but not necessarily in the line of physicality? But then, how do we know our existence? Because this is us, and in respect to our environment, we create a barrier, what called magnetosphere, in respect to the others, that it confirms our existence. This happens in the universe quite a lot. We are blind to it. Look at the structure of the galaxies. There are no stars, but we see the effect of their fields in the rest of the universe, where they confirm their position. There are galaxies which are totally transparent. There are stars and planets which are totally transparent. Because they are there, you walk into them. But because the fields they produce is in balance with the environment they operate in, is not visible to the man of Earth. Where the others who have become to the level of equality of the emotion and physicality, they see them because they are of the same interaction strength field. There is a lot to learn. There is a lot to understand. But step by step, we are not getting whole 7 billion. We started with 1, and in time we'll get to the whole of every creation on this planet. And then we'll see if the man is ready to accept his position as one of the kind, part of the totality, and not the king. Any other question?
There's a question in the chat. Mental malfunctions, delusions, voices, hallucinations, and anxiety. What is it? Physical?
You explained it. It has a spectrum of the strength according to your emotional part and your physical part. What is anxiety? What is fear? Is fear the strength of the emotion, not wanting, or fear of the physicality, being afraid of losing its supply line, which is the emotion? What is anxiety? It has all its strength. Now we understand everything has a strength. It's for us to measure it, and in strength is a spectrum. Within that spectrum, according to the physical structure of the man, and the emotional strength has and can go from one level to another. Don't forget, go back to the teachings from the beginning. We mentioned this many times. Every plant you see on this planet is green, has a green leaf. But not all the leaves are of the same color across all the species. What does it mean? This means that every leaf has learned, created a condition that it can absorb certain fields. Now we understand the CO2 box. And it can emit certain fields. So in absorbing certain fields, let's say it absorbs certain carbon of a given strength spectrum, because all the carbons are not of the same spectrum. So you can see the variety of the colors of the creation in the vertical, even the color of the pebbles. Then you can see that spectrum creating so many different colors to absorb a given specific CO2 structure or carbon structure is created. And the oxygen or the energy which is released from it to be as part of the structure has the same variation in strength. So if you don't understand this, go back into the world of the water and the fish. If you go in the aquariums, as I spoke before, they put all sorts of fishes in a tank and none of them eat each other. Because the energy that they provide does not fit to the energy, the one which the predator needs. So that's how they survive. The same is with the plants. They take the energy which is fits to them the way they structure themselves. So now as a humans, or whatever you want to call it as a creation, all of us which is created out of the amino acid from the combination of 4 elements of this gaseous part of this planet has the same. I can absorb only oxygens which are the given strength and the carbons which are as given a strength. So in that respect, my energy absorption is different than yours, because I only take a specific kind of CO2, or I take a specific level of oxygen strength that it suits me. I live in Iran, I become poetess, and I become man of love, and it gets mixed up, goes across. We see the behavior of the Iranians in America, they become as animal as a wild animal, because now they're in West. Because that energy of the tolerance of the environment creates animal behavior. We get the waters of the Alp, we get the romantic Italian. So We absorb different energies according to what in that environment our environmental matter state and the gaseous state gives us, allows us to guarantee our existence. It's very interesting. This behavior of animal behavior of the man now has taken hold. Because if no one makes gun, no one kills, is something wrong with them. So we put gun in there, we kill them, and then we tell them the animal because we want to sell the guns because now we are in power. The problem in the human race, which you haven't understood, and I'm trying to teach you in a very hard way, and with the bit of a push and a shove, I try to explain, but none of you come to it. We come to it today because we have to handle it. Is I tease you, you can have as much gold as you like. But these people who are men of death, making arms, killing, they don't want the physicality position. They're involved in the emotional control of their own loss. This is why they're so easy to handle for those who are men of peace. Because you have not understood. You can give them all the gold in the world, not interested. Because the emotional ego trip is much important. So they're more vulnerable than the man who wants the physicality of the gold. To change the warmongering people who are in that game is so easy. Because in the physical state, you have to go and create the gold to give it to them. But now you're seeing the status of the system I have given you. What said you wanted to have food, he gave you food. You give love of peace. Love means giving unconditionally. These people are disturbed, they're getting more and more disturbed. The more of you creating these systems, and from today, go back on the process of give the love of peace, you will find out you elevate their position. And then, when you touch the emotion, they have nothing to do with the tangibility, physicality of the gold or anything else. This is what I said. The time will come that the man will not remember why he's carrying a gun. In the 12 members of the Keshe Foundation, the core team, the first thing we gave them was to elevate the physicality of the prophet of the past. That they all become the same, that they are equal. The second task they had, they chose the world leaders to elevate the soul of the world leaders on the physical level. And now, the whole of you, you can elevate your own emotion according to the love of peace, and as you give, it has to be received, otherwise it has no room to go. You've been looking for a machine to give you the chance to create with it food and energy and lights and whatever, to give the man to become peaceful. No sir, you have gone totally the wrong way. Because you forgotten one piece. Man has two parts, the emotional and the physical. With these up to now, you're feeding the physicality. And you're happy with it. Oh, I had a steak, oh, I got champagne, I got drunk, I wanted the orange last night. I don't go to the machine anymore, I just wish I'd receive it. Now, go and give the love of peace. Go to the system. I don't want anything, because if I need, I know I receive. My condition of giving is, I want my emotion, which if it's correct, to be the emotion of peace. I have plenty to give, because I confirm all the rubbish comes to me into the love of God. Into the love of God means the giving of peace. And then you see, where does this peace end up? Man will walk not knowing why he's carrying arms. As some of you know, one of the Keshe Foundation teachers, they went to his child and his wife that threatening him, one of the biggest aircraft manufacturers threatening them, if you work and teach on the foundation, about the Keshe Foundation, we're going to do this and that. And the message is one of the biggest aircraft manufacturers in the world. The wife had to pull a gun tilt away till the police comes, because she knew she's correct standing in her ground. The husband teaches for the peace, not for the guns. And these people are getting disturbed. Because where are they going to sell guns and have all the beautiful luxuries and many mistresses and whatever, when nobody buying it, the shop closed? They see it as a threat, the work of peace. Because now there's no green peace, we are all transparent peace. The green peace is when you're connected to physicality of this planet by deception. Because you know, if the color of your peace is non-tangible, has no color, so you give unconditionally. You don't need to be. Start understanding the changes that you're bringing. When one of the biggest aircraft manufacturing people who've been negotiating with us 12 years ago, go and threaten a woman and a child because someone is teaching the process of peace, it means a lot of bells are ringing. But from now on, stand in front of your Maghreb system and give to him the love of peace. If you see a color, it means you're not honest to yourself, but not the color of the eye, but through the color of the emotion. You feel the pain. I lied to myself. I'm giving because I want something else. As the head of the Keshe Foundation, we see a lot of these things. And I get reports and we get subjected to ourselves to it. I explained to you when I was captured in Canada. For 11 days they told me they put a bullet in my head. I prayed for them. They released me as a criminal back to the hand of the criminals which are holding me. And when I got to the Brussels airport, they let me go. If you're a criminal, they put you in prison. How come you're a criminal but they let you free? We are in the same position today. Nothing has changed. But biggest criminals, now they see a bigger interest in danger because their interest is to sell arms and kill. Our interest is to promote man to equality as one nation, one planet, one race. And when you are one, you cannot sell anything different. So next time when you stand in front of these machines, don't ask for what you want. Give what is the true intention of you. And then you see if the system takes it. And if it takes it, it has to give it to somewhere. And if it gives it, it lands to those who go back to 129 and 3 sets in the Desensano. The one which is the weakest, which is more warmongering, receives more, so he gets elevated to become peaceful like you. We do not get discredited anymore because now with the number of the organizations, foundations, factories we're putting the planet out with, we are saturated. We are the winners because our intention is peaceful. And it was made a promise. When he comes, the lamb and the lion will eat from the same spring. And the time has come. I fulfill my mission, but in a way that this time nothing happens the same as Egypt the last time. Only few will carry on. The mass communication is strong enough that our voice can be even heard in the deepest part of the ocean and the highest mountain. Our mission is peace, but now collectively as mankind, because now you have the tool of peace. You don't need to take from it, because this has been your habit to take. You change the cow, you change the chicken, you change the leaf to my systems of energy. You haven't changed. There has been no change. You just changed the different supplier. Now is in front of you as a stacker. You have forgotten the principle. I gave you the knowledge to give, to by giving to bring the human race in balance. Now you have snookered yourself. Now, what I told you a few weeks ago, when you stand in front of the system, you know if your intentions are what you say, and with it, you shall make the spaceship of your own life, which means your freedom in the space. You have made the atmosphere a position of tangibility of restriction, not me. When you give to be free, you become free, and the universe is your oyster. So it's your physical dimension of expectation which has given you the prison of tangibility, not the love of the Creator. Because if you elevate, you will live in different dimensions as you deserve to, according to the strength you give. Because as long as you give, you can receive on that level and no more. Don't forget, my message is complete. I am the Messiah and I am the Mahdi. The same as any other creation. It's you to elevate the position of the Creator that the peace can establish on this planet. Nothing else. Next time when you go to the machine, give. This be the habit of man, to take. God is a giver, God is generous, God is kind. You are the takers, you are the abusers, and you are the deceivers, because you deceive yourself, you abuse yourself, and you don't do nothing but taking. Change the position and do it truly. You will find within the next 24 hours, world peace will be on the table. You are taking, how do you want to promote? You are the receiver.
Mr. Kesh, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does the Absolute or the Creator suffer?
No. Suffering comes by the failure of the takers or taking the wrong thing. Because you give, it's like when you're a father, you make everything possible for your child to have the best thing, and the child goes and takes the worst. Who suffers, the child or the father who sees the loss? It's the same with the Creator.
So isn't that a certain form of suffering, or a form of
In a way, yes. In a way,
anxiety almost?
in a way, yes, it is. But you always hope that it'll change. The child will mature, and this child has been very much immature for millions of years. Maybe we can mature it now. Maybe a lot of you will understand how the process of the peace will come. A lot of you understand the reality and the control of totality. There is no control, but the reality is that you're all equal. I made man in the image of myself. Change the man to the creation. So everything is equal across the universe, not just the man.
David says in the chat, the eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me.
Good
from
morning.
The 5,000-year-old Sanskrit.
Good morning, if you understand it. Then it's transparent, because the eye sees only at the bandwidth which is allowed to be given by it to see. So if you give and you take the same, you have achieved the point. Now even you understand why we came to Middle East. The completion of the mission. Within the Arab nation, within the Islamic nation, we announce we are the Mahdi, which means it's the time of peace. We have shaken the roots within Vatican and the Christianity, and you see they are running either way to prove it's the others who are fighting. Now in the Islamic world, we bring peace because they're all equal, and the same with the Christians and the other Muslims. The path of God is clear in one way. Prophet of God are equal in the eye of the God. So how can be a difference between the man who followed them? And how can be representative of the God when the God is present himself? Is there a need for rabbis or priests or mullahs or the rest? When the messenger is the man himself, that he has to see the truth himself. Any other question?
Mr. Kesh, this is Vivek from Singapore. I have a reminder actually. You asked us during the International Kesh Foundation meeting to remind you to share with everyone how the Kesh Foundation is working to improve positively the economy of the world.
You have to explain what a meeting is. First of all, can you explain what was the meeting and how is it structured?
Okay, the meeting is that the International Kesh Foundation people who will form this structure will become the ambassadors and representatives of Kesh Foundation to their own countries, and we will be elevating the state of humanity through our work, through the work of the Kesh Foundation.
At the same time, we have set up the manufacturing side that by receiving the funds through the operation of the physical side, it can be financed to promote the peace and equality, which means none of the Kesh foundations will be dictated by no man, by no organization. Because you can influence, when you can influence the man financially, restricting his finances. Now that we have developed the Kesh Foundation manufacturing, in them creating huge sums of finance for the profit, 51% of the profit, and then majority of it to go to the support of the Kesh Foundations to promote peace, to promote equality of the religion, to promote education, to create the ground for new research and development. Then the new research and development and new humanity will feed back into the manufacturing side, that it creates the finances for the physical part of the operation. As long as the man is in a physical matter state till he's elevated to the understanding of the universe, we have to support the man. So now what we've done, we have been allowed to create the first Kesh Foundation bank. In the next few weeks we announce it. The bank will be headed by a well-known banker, the head of a national bank, part of the World Bank organization, but in feeling, emotion and serving, he is very much on the level of the Kesh Foundation. So in the coming time, very soon, as we said, we will announce the Kesh Foundation bank system, but at the same time we use a new currency which the Kesh Foundation will introduce for its banking. Don't forget, we are not going by national banks. We are going by one bank for one planet, and the bank is there to support its citizens. So the national banks and the goals become irrelevant. But the biggest question is something very simple. The national banks in the past, since more or less 30 years, 3 decades, have produced finances on the internet which has no banking, no guarantee. It's just I produce, I write a paper, and this is my wealth. So we give the same right to the human race as a totality of one nation, one planet. We guarantee payment. You will receive what you need, that you stay at peace with yourself according to what you have contributed to the peace of the others. In the coming time, we abolish money. In a way, there is no money. What is the money? Is the level of the emotion which you pay, you take. You wish to have a system for your house to stay warm, you receive the system. You bank with the foundation through the understanding of what we have explained this morning. Then your feed system are your banking system. And if you haven't understood this, I've explained this before, but you've been deaf to it. Let me explain exactly how it works. When you go to the church, when you go to the mosque to pray to my servants, you pray to give part of it to for future if you need it. This is what the praying is, as I explained in all the teaching. When you pray, it's the emotion of giving. This is the nearest man will ever get to the level of the Creator. That's why we pray. Because it's the time. The true pray is when we give. And when you give, it's just like a piggy bank. You put a penny in. But this time, you're used to physical of the money falling in the piggy bank. This time, it's a ching. It's the energy which is saved in your banking system, in your emotion. And then you see, I went to the church and I prayed, I went to the mosque.
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Hello.
Are we disconnected?
Oh, we lost you at the word mosque. When you say pray at the church, pray at the mosque, and then it cut off at that word.
God didn't want me to speak, maybe. So what happens when you go to the mosque, when you go to the church and you pray to the Creator? Pray is part of the energy, is a banking system. You bank for yourself. You bank part of your energy within yourself. Nowhere else. The same as I said, you create a heart which has got a banking like your liver. Emotion and the soul has its own banking system. So you are banking in your own bank up to now, but we called it the holy buildings. Or you have made a statue in the corner of the house, and to it you bank and you pray. Oh, every morning you put a candle on, you go to church on the Sunday, you go to mosque for a Friday prayer. But what do you do actually? You save your own energy of the soul, your emotion. And then when you are in trouble, you call the deposit account out. And then it happens because the call was pure and he had a purpose that he helps another. You gave the energy, you saved it yourself. Now you call the bank, it's your money. And that additional energy which is released, which you called on, is for you to use. It's the same as when you have food and you store it in the liver. When there is no food you want it, the liver delivers. So now you call on the liver of your soul, if you want to call it that way, the deposit bank. And then this was understood fully by the Prophet of God. But their servants changed it to abuse the man. Look at the work of Muhammad, blessed his name. He demolished all the statues. But the only thing he couldn't manage to demolish was the statue of the ignorance of the man in the brain of the man, because he couldn't reach it. Now, the abusers use his name and his giving in the way to abuse the man's emotion. It's very interesting how we have misread our own behavior, how we have misread our own existence, how we have misread our own emotion work within the structure. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, Mr. Kesh.
You can hear. How we have forgotten the truth about the operation of our own emotion because the physicality has the tangibility to touch. One of the reasons I brought the food structure out with the system was to show your emotion has a strength too. That is so powerful that even teaches your physicality. You stand in front of the machine or you're away from the machine and you want a banana, you get the banana. You want a steak, you have a steak. So, what I'm trying to teach you, the way we made the cores and the ganses and we shake it and we show the 129 and the machine lives, and then you start getting energy to run a few lights and whatever, that you start understanding, believing there is something in there because now I see the energy. The process of this system where you feed is no different. It's just the only language you understand. I have to play your game. I have to do till you understand, oh, I want a banana, and then it was a taste of the banana, so there is something in that machine. Now you know it's there. Now you spoke about the orange and you had the orange, and now you understand the water in the cup is yourself, that you absorb it because it's you who combat it. It could be even ask, you put the orange and ask for a banana, you get taste of it. Says, how come it's orange? Because it's your emotion which gives you the energy which you want through your emotion. Control of the physicality. So if you understood this and you do more and more on melding these systems, then becomes something very nice and apparent. Now you know it exists. Now is for you to give to what you understand. They call you crazy. He stands in front of this thing. Now he's become the God. Have we gone back to the point of statues where Muhammad, bless his name, destroyed in the mosque, in the what you call the holiest place in Mecca. Now are we making a statue which up to now we took from all the time, that now we understand we are the givers towards it, that because our giving can change the others? It's a very big question for humanity to answer from now on. We were the takers and we were bankers and we always took. Now we have to give to the Creator because the callback has been called, the deposit has been reversed. The creation of the man was shown the love of the Creator, but unfortunately has become the demise and the destruction of the physicality at one level, which needs to be remanifested in another. Why not to be a bouquet than a bullet? We see in United States the elections going on. The man who creates more hate, the man who's creating more mayhem, the man who's creating fight amongst the people, the woman who is on the same bandwagon for another purpose when it becomes more apparent. Is this the law of God? Is this what the Creator wanted? Or can we elevate the soul by depositing in the bank that we wanted to be deposited in that strength? Two choices will happen. These people will disappear, or in the process they will not get to the position they are. How do they disappear? Because the emotion of the totality will change the existence of the singularity. The single cannot stand. It's in the Holy Writing. We took the love of God from the tribe of Moses for what they did to the Christ. The Romans did not put the Christ on the cross. The Jews did, because he was a threat to their existence in robbing the man from emotion. And Muhammad, was his name, was right. But the followers of Muhammad went exactly the same as the others in killing and mayhem to change the name of the God because he brought wealth. In the writing of Baha'u'llah, his name says, we took the love of Islam from the tribe of Muhammad for what they've done in the mayhem, and we give the love of God back to the tribe of Moses. But the mayhem is the same from both sides, so it has not changed. Now we give the love of God to all the humanity in equal. Now we shall see. Because it's no use taking and it's no use giving, because the one who is taken from fights to get it, and the one who's given is immature to handle the gift. So now we give that the totality becomes equal. There is a reason we are in Islamic nation. There was a reason we were in Vatican. And we can stand all these children of the leaders of the world as they are totally immature to understand they fight a physicality where we control the emotion and the soul of the man. Because, go back from the beginning of the teaching, we always told you, it's the emotion which controls the physicality. It's the emotion which controls the shape, the color, and what your physicality has to be for the soul to receive the level of the strength that it needs. A beautiful child, a beautiful flower. When it's beautiful, you look at it, you give it with your soul, you praise its beauty, and you elevate the soul of it, which means that soul inside needs elevation. That's why he's made itself so beautiful. Man, in a very short time, will understand what we have revealed today. Very, very short time, shorter than you can ever imagine. But we have released today the tool of peace. It's the hand of the followers of the peace to know now, do they need a feeding station, or does it have to be a banana or the orange? Instead of taking, give the banana enough that it becomes his flower, not his fruit. And then we see the beauty and we smell the sense of his flower. Very soon you understand what I revealed today. We have finished with all the religions of the past. We have brought all equal. As I said, as I am the Messiah, I am the Mahdi. As I am the Mahdi, I am the return of what has been promised in all the books, because I am you and you are me. I made you in the image of myself. So it's for you to start the process of peace by giving and stop being the takers, because you know you will receive. It was a doubt in understanding that what you will receive. Now you know. If you want to receive the love of the Creator, all you need have to give equal as the Creator. Then you become as part of the Creator. So I made the man in the image of myself, as I'm a giver, I'm generous, I'm kind, and the rest of it. Muhammad, blessed his name, said, as I've said before, God has 100 attributes which we can write. 99 of them is written, and one is when you read the Quran from the beginning to the end, you shall see, which is the name of Muhammad, blessed his name, himself. Because he is part of the Creator, and in love of it, he is the part of the creation. It's the same with all the prophets of the past, and no different. Any other question?
Hey, Mr. Keshe, Luigino, how are you?
Hi, Louis. How are you? Still in Italy?
Yeah.
Are you going to be there on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Have you received your invitation?
No, but Giovanni told me all about it, so.
You can't go there. You're the only one who cannot go. You're banned from going there because you resigned to be a student there. Why are you going back
Yeah.
there again?
What do you mean I resigned? I didn't-
we refunded you because you didn't want to be a student. Now you're going to the Italian camp?
You read my email. It's not a resignation.
I know.
A changeover.
I'm just pulling
You want to get rid of me? That's okay. No, I'll leave.
No. You're quite welcome. You have all our blessing on Sunday. Please
Thank
make
you.
all the facilities available that teaching can be broadcasted. Our soul and our emotions are with you.
Thank
I've
you.
been asked to be there when the opening is there. We are just thinking, would we or would we not? We don't know. We'll be there on the Skype and we'll be with you. And I hope it'll be a successful venture for all the Italians across the planet.
Yes, we hope so. It's very enlightening what you were talking about today. The other night when you asked me to go to the dinner party with Jackie.
Did you eat much?
Well, this is where what's interesting what you talked about today. I didn't feel I need anything, so I pulled out my crystal, and I was sending energy to the Jackie's MagRav unit. Did it receive it? I'm not sure, but I just didn't need anything. I was satisfied, so I didn't get anything myself.
You don't know. Maybe you sold it. You don't know the color of the food of the soul, do you?
Ah, okay. That's
You look too much for physicality.
exactly. Another question that was arised yesterday when I was doing a little bit of a teaching. When we're, let's say we're taking the food of an animal or a plant, plasmatically, we get the flavor and the energy and everything. Is it still attached to karma in that way?
Of course.
So, okay, that's what I believe.
How can you say a child is different than the mother when it's born from the same mother?
Exactly the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
The energy. That's what I had a feeling. I just wanted to clarify it with you.
No problem. You're welcome.
Thank you.
When you go in that building on Sunday, that building is blessed. That building is the only building which is sunk into the earth to show the elevation of the soul of the planet. It's built on mine. If you know, when you go down, you go into an old marble mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's built on the reef field, but it's still about a few meters below the surface level.
Wow.
You've seen it. You never noticed.
No, I didn't know it was a beneath the building area.
It was a mining area. It was a marble mine, and they didn't raise it right to the top. It was filled in, and they built whatever gaps was in there was filled, and the building was built on top of it.
So that's why the whole area sunk down.
Yeah, it was a mine. Yeah, we work within the sink of the, what do you call it, the soul of the man.
Right, nice.
Welcome. I hope you enjoyed. All the best to the Italians, and this is the beginning for Italians who've done so much work to support the foundation in the past 3 years, and it's a gift for the whole community worldwide. And I hope it will be the beginning, and when the Italians start, the love of Italians will become like their cars, will flow across the blood of the others. We see China coming into operation and teaching next month, and then I know the Germans and the Spanish are the next in line coming up, and we'll see what we do with the rest. You'll be interested in the announcements we will be making in Beijing. The announcements which will come from the meeting out of the Keshe Foundation and the Chinese authorities and the what we call structure of the protection of the nation, we call it army, will change the course of the humanity. We trust, I have full trust in the ability of the Chinese Keshe Foundation and the Chinese government and Chinese military, which we will work, we will deliver new avenues to close a lot of problems in that country. And it's good that you started with the Italians. Congratulations to all of you. It's a hard work of one man. Giovanni is like gold. He has devoted his life to serve humanity, and this is, I think, the good fruit. It's a jewel in the crown of teaching because it's come from pure heart without any expectation for receiving. Thank you very much, Giovanni. Any other question?
We have a question from Jay in the questions here. He has a question about the feeding device. He says, I'm allergic to zinc metal. When I try and feed from the device each time, it seems, it seems like I can actually taste the copper in my mouth, and it's also very dry. Someone has said it's because of my problem with the zinc. Is there any explanation of why?
Yes, you're too physical.
He says, people are tasting this and that, and I'm wondering why I don't, although I have not felt hungry just like everyone else.
Yeah, maybe the hunger needs to be satisfied in the other direction first. When you can taste the copper, it means you're too physical. You're too attached to physicality. It does not matter what comes from the word of the mouth. It means the physicality is suffering and it needs to patch up first, so you taste most of what comes.
Would that be because of too many heavy metals in the body,
No.
perhaps, or is something?
No, it is. A man has to go down deep in his own emotion to find out what is the truth. Why? Where has been the gap? Has there been a hunger in the past life? Not past life, in the life since you're born. Has the meat has a meaning to you because it's the copper of, it's the color of and taste of the blood of the muscle. We know it very well. Have you been forced to eat meat where you didn't want to and you were a vegetarian, or you didn't like the horizontal one, you wanted to have a floating one, which is the fishes? Go back inside you, in the true eyes, you will see the reason, and then it stops immediately because you have made the connection and satisfied the need. Any other question?
Well, we have a difficult question in regards to lead GANs, actually, and Bernardo has mentioned that he has questions regards to lead GANs, how dangerous it is. Dangerous.
Who said it's dangerous? It's not dangerous. It's just for man. It's the behavior of his plasma. You have to understand, in your body there is a fair amount of lead. Without it, you won't exist. But in our physical life, our lead has been transferred to sulfur. Does the same thing. Sulfur in the body works the same as lead in the matter state in certain animals.
He says he physically wasn't feeling well. He felt like close to death after only 2 days, and he talks about.
It's very, yeah, it touches. Let me explain to you. This is not the first person who's really talking about this. Douglas had the same feeling. Douglas was the one who pushed Bernie to do it, and then we got to do it. What does lead do? Because of its plasmatic configuration, it has a heavier gravitational compared to its magnetical. It takes a lot, but it spreads the field not on the top end, but across. So it doesn't give in one level, it gives in a spectrum, but it takes in one strength. Understand the process. And that strength which it takes is very much close to the physical part of the man's operation. Which means it takes a lot from what comes out of the emotion as a giving in the physical level. So it takes everything what is ready to release, but because it spreads this field in a spectrum, it does not satisfy fully all the needs of the physical part of the existence in the gas state. And that's why you get this emotional feeling, because it takes the physicality, emotion has to subsidize it, and it creates what we call depression field. A lot of depression, a lot of new understandings of the emotional conflicts has increased because of the use of lead in the petroleum industry. Because when it enters the body of the man, when it's in the gas state, when you breathe it in, it brings the same condition as people feel in the gas when they play with it or they use it. You have to understand you need lead. You need lead for the physical attraction, because when it pulls, it can give to the others. And you need phosphor for the emotional part, because it allows very strength near to the strength of the emotion that it can give. That's why both are in our body. They are the sinks, and sink means when you take it, you have to give it. But because when they give a spectrum, is not mono, or at least certain length in packages. This is the problem. You see, you feel depressed. Is not knowing if what the emotion gives balances with what the physicality is taking, and this brings grief. That's what grief is. Do not play with phosphor or GaNs, lead GaNs, unless you know what you're doing and what measure. Is Douglas online?
Yes, sir, Mr. Keshe.
Can you explain to us how you felt the first time when you played with it, or when you produced it?
Yes, I had a very, as I described, yucky feeling, completely drained, no energy. It wasn't, you know, I didn't feel as though I was being harmed. You know, it was just a really yucky feeling. I would guess if I had to put a word to describe it, flu-like without the aches and pains is how it felt. Flu-like without the aches and pains. Just really drained, run down. And like Bernardo said, about 2 days, and I think Bernie confirmed that also, just a draining feeling, you know, and I mentioned that to others. I've been around lead all my life, being a plumber. You know, we've made lead pan shower pans and lead flashing on the roof. I've handled it for many years and never had an issue with it. And it's really, really strong in the plasma when you make it into a GaNs, and it just needs to be handled with caution when you know, like you said. And I learned that the hard way. I treat it with extreme amount of caution when I handle it now. With gloves and in a different container. Bernie showed me to be able to hold CO2 in the other hand and allow the fields to equalize so they don't pull from me. So that's worked for me also. So I've learned how to interact with the lead and not have it drained from me. But yes, it was a very draining, you know, like I said, flu-like feeling without the aches and pains, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
How are you, Mr. Keshe?
Who's that?
I'm Lan Zhang from China.
Hello, yes, good afternoon.
Good morning. I have 2 questions today. My brother told me today he has liver cirrhosis. I want to learn from you how to treat liver cirrhosis with healthy unit.
Second question.
Second question, I have asked you how to treat uremia. You taught us in the teach, but I don't know how to use salt water pool.
What is, okay, let's go to the first one. Your first question is?
How to treat liver cirrhosis.
What are the symptoms of this problem? First of all, we don't cure. We find a solution to process it. But what is the disease? What are the signs of it?
Pardon?
I said, what are the signs of this disease with the liver?
Liver. He had many years disease with liver.
Yes.
Yeah. The liver is hard now.
Yes. Why?
For early years, he always drink.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps because this.
What happened? Why was he drinking?
For his work, need to with guest.
He was drinking alcohol, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
What do you do when you drink alcohol? Nobody has explained the state of drunkenness. Why do we get drunk? Why alcohol has such an effect on man? And then if you understand it, that alcohol is the only thing, more or less, which creates the freedom between the emotion and physicality. Because we have no control over the physicality, because the emotion gets freed of it. That's why you fall all over the place. And why does it touch the liver? Because if it's hardened, cannot be stored. So it's the energy which is not needed given to physicality, which is released by the emotion. So when it's not needed and the intention is I don't want to because the liver can store it, if I block this liver in the storage, then I can't get drunk because I can't stand the alcohol. So you have to go to the essence of the emotion why the alcohol was consumed. All the alcoholics, all the problem now is that they try to sort out the physical side. We've got to stop drinking and finding different things. But ask the man who's alcoholic single question. What is the emotion behind it? And you would take the man to the first day why he drank and what he found in it and with it. And if you understand that, then you find out he doesn't touch the alcohol because he understood what caused him to drink it. And then you find out there is no hardness of the liver too either. You don't reverse, you don't try to sort out the problem of the liver when you know the liver is the source where it stores everything. Because partially is emotion too. So ask him to go back to the first time when he drank. That first time gave him an impression of what? And if he understands that, and he can tell you that, and you let him to analyze it himself, he will just walk away from alcohol. But even if he still stopped drinking years ago, but he used to be alcoholic, he did not satisfy the need of the balance in the emotion. He physically has forced it, the same as he's physically forcing the hardening of the liver or change of the liver. So you have to reach these people first through their emotion, and then you find out the physicality is just a repair job by itself. Find out his emotion for the first time, the rest is a repeat. If you go to a Chinese restaurant and you eat the Chinese food and you enjoy it, you go back to the same restaurant again and again for the same food. Because it satisfied something at that time when you needed it, to be like a Chinaman, to be part of it, and find out what was satisfied in that moment with the first drink. Was it to defy? Was it to get energy that it could be out of the pain which was forced on him? You find out a lot of people at a young age, teenager age, they become alcoholic because the only way that they can understand the emotion of what they want to be without the physicality. So ask him the question. What feeling did you get when you drank the first time? What was satisfied that you're still chasing the same? And then it goes to the point that the emotional strength cannot be satisfied because it goes so high, but there's a lot of physical strength which has got nowhere to go because it was there to satisfy the emotion. And then it has to be stored. There it goes in the liver. Because the liver was the point where has a common denominator in the storage, but in parallel, which there's not much in the emotion side. You're his brother, ask him. Take him back to the first time he drank.
In herbology, we look at alcohol as spirit, and that's why we infuse herbs into it. And so the spirit of the alcohol takes on the spirit of the plant, which delivers to the spirit of the cell of the body. And it's very effective that way, used as medicine.
Thank you very much. What was the second question?
The second question, how to treat uremia with salt water pool? I don't know how to use it.
To treat what?
Salt water pool.
No. How can you treat what? What was the question? I missed the first part. Can you ask your question again?
My first question is about
second question.
uremia. He has disease with kidney.
Uremia. Okay, no problem. What is the problem? What are the symptoms?
I don't know if it is necessary to use salt water pool in the health system when we treat uremia patient. Sick knows uremia.
Yes, but I'm waiting for you to tell me what it is exactly. Because we got to learn it. You come and use the terminology, 99.9% of us, we are not doctors or scientists. We got to understand what it means. Explain it.
Because my English is not excellent.
Your English is better than my Chinese, my friend. You can do. Come on, we got all the time.
Okay.有翻译吗？现在
Pardon?
I can't find a translator for Chinese to English now.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We make it easier for all of us. Rick, can you go to Wikipedia and find out what it is and what this disease is, please?
Got it all set up, ready to go here, Mr. Cash.
Can you read it, please?
Yeah, I can put it on the screen so we can see it as well. It says, uremia can be translated as urea in the blood. Urea is one of the primary components of urine. It can be defined as an excess of amino acid and protein metabolism end products, such as urea and creatinine, in the blood that would normally be excreted in the urine. That's basically it. It's a type of kidney or renal failure.
Why? Is it to do with the emotional part of the kidney, which is not the imbalance with the physical part? Or is it the physical part trying to enforce its emotional part?
Some of the symptoms would be progressive weakness and easy fatigue, loss of appetite due to nausea and vomiting, muscle atrophy, tremors, abnormal mental function, frequent shallow respiration, and
You
metabolic.
see, it tells you everything. It tells you his emotion is not fixed. There, read it.
Mhm.
Huh? It's totally emotional dependent. You gotta fix the emotion and the physicality will follow. It tells you fatigue, lack of breath. What is the lack of breathing? Is emotion. We know breathing, it has to do with the emotionality. Why do you want to breathe less? Because you can't handle the emotion, it's too much. It's too much energy is taken and the emotion cannot handle. These, most of diseases we hear, we read. One of the beauties of this, what I call Wikipedia. All the answers are sitting there. So you got to find out. Look, fatigue. Huh? This is all to do with why. Why do you go into coma? Because it's the emotional part. You want nothing to do with physicality, so you block it. With these things, if you go to the emotion, you find the answer, and then it's very easy to process. Salt water, does it change the emotion receptors? Does it matter if you give them energy from the zinc or from calcium? You have to bring the balance.
May I use 6 coils, the 2 with heart, the 4 with kidneys?
Pardon?
I want to use 6 coils, the 2 with the heart, the front one and the back one, the 4 with the 2 kidneys. Each
I don't
kidney.
understand this. I don't understand, sorry.
You want to use 6 coils, 2 for the
Oh,
heart.
6 coils, sorry. Yeah.
6 units, 6 units.
Yeah, but you're not solving the problem with the what do you call it, with the emotion. If you, I know what you want to do. You want to put 1 to the heart and 2 to each kidney. I mean 2 to the heart and 2 to each kidney. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. This does not gonna work because you're enforcing your condition. You have to understand the reason of it, and then you find out then your system works. The person has to be, you see, you forget one thing, and this is one of the biggest problem in the health section of the Keshe Foundation. Your intentions are there to help, but the person you're trying to help does not want to have the intention, your intention to receive, because with it, receiving it, they have to change, and through it, they will not receive the energy they need. You have to understand what is the need. You cannot give it to it if it's not there to receive it. You can push it, you can boost it, you can change of different strength. But as a kidney has a spectrum of itself, you have to understand how you connect it, even if you want to do it. Is it both kidneys or is it one kidney? If it's the left kidney or the right kidney, then you look on the opposite side in the brain and in emotion and the physicality, see what is being touched, what's the need is. The way you are doing it, you change my system with the aspirin and the tablets. It doesn't work. Now you found another tool to abuse. Understand the reason. Then most of the job is done when understood for you. Instead of doing and say it doesn't work, you haven't ever understood to work it because you've seen a call, you think that should be the answer. Why don't you make 3 stackers and let him sit in the middle of it and let it receive GAN's code with zinc and CH3 and CO2, and let him elevate his emotion to understand his strength. Then you find out the kidneys just change. The way I see a lot of people using these systems which we're introducing, you're just changing another aspirin with my system. Why? It wasn't built for that. It was built to elevate the soul of the man, the emotion of the man, and when the emotion and the soul is elevated, the physicality will follow. You're still going at the end. You see the thing, I have to change there to be, but you don't solve the problem. Okay, you may increase a field in one certain strength, and it goes, but you haven't sorted out the emotion, you haven't elevated the emotional part of the brain that you can receive it. It's another abuse. I don't see a understanding of the technology. It's another abuse, and I say it doesn't work. We tried it because you never understood the system, how to use it. Of course it's not gonna. You can't take a Formula 1 car into a donkey race. Formula 1 needs a smooth understanding of every gear, the smoothness of the road, the flow of the air, everything has to be understood. A donkey road is full of dirt and dirt track and humps and ups. It doesn't work. The donkey always wins because it's for his track. Understand when you start using the system what it is, why you're doing it the way you're doing it, but understand majority of these things has an emotional. Understand why it manifests itself in physicality of the hardness of the kidney. Because you can solve it the minute you put it in your hand, so it comes back and says the system doesn't work. Maybe you're still doing some change, but the others don't, because you haven't understood. Indians say, Nim Hakim Khatar Jan. I've said this. The one who understands a little bit of medicine, Hakim is a doctor. Nim is half. So half a doctor is danger to life. Khatar is danger. John is life. And you're all Nim Hakims, and you don't see it, and then you blame the technology because you never understood. You still attach yourself to Nim, half, which is the physicality change. You don't understand what happened at the physicality change to start with. You haven't solved the problem. You want to see the result? You're like the same as the rest of the pharmaceutical. You just change the tablet to a field now, and it doesn't work because you haven't understood the totality of it, and you're all in a big mess with this. Open the Wikipedia, open the science, understand. The only thing is when you read these texts, look for the emotion. Where does it hurt? Where has the conflict has come in the emotion that it shows itself in physicality? Your guy walks out in a few days with nothing because you change the structure from the creator, which is the emotion. If you understand something, go back to the writing of Muhammad Bassis. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The creator, which is kind and giver. This is both the attributes of the soul of the man and the emotional part of the man. Is the physicality which abuses it to fit, to manifest itself to be existing. And as I always says in the writing of Christ, bless his name, thou shalt not steal. The biggest thief of the man is the man himself, which steals from his emotionality to confirm his existence in physicality. And that's what you call disease. Any other question?
Yes. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Hello, Mr. Cash. Hello, Mr.
Who's
Cash.
that? Who's that?
My name is Foca Florin. I'm from
Pardon?
Romania. I'm Foca Florin.
Yes.
I'm from Romania,
Yes.
but live in Norway. And I have I start in Norway with the teachings.
Mhm.
We have Zoom on a Monday. Every Monday we have teachings on Zoom. I try to teach people nano-coating and guns. I
Is
have
that the one with Sandor?
yeah. We collaborate very good with Mr. Chandra. Yeah. And I'm first
You know
time when
something, while you're there is something important. I raised this point because I have a problem with you Romanians, the Cash Foundation. A lot of your site is controlled by non-Romanians, even they speak Romanian. Sandor should not be your webmaster in your lines. Romanians should take over and run. He has nursed you, he's brought you to where you are. Now you can walk, you have the sessions. Sandor should not be your controller of your Facebooks and everything else. He's Hungarian, he has got to stay. He helps a lot of structures to be built up. You have to start taking over and looking after yourself. Because Romanian Cash Foundation is becoming very strong. You're doing gorgeous jobs. I'm monitoring everything you do in the background.
Yeah, but I live in Norway, Mr. Cash. And
Doesn't matter. We don't have borders. You're Romanian. You speak the Romanian language. You're in America. You're Romanian. That's why we played One Planet, One Nation. We don't go by the country. So
help from there.
Pardon?
Nobody have the knowledge. I see you 2 years ago, but I'm following
yes,
you.
but you teach them. They start classes in Romanian. We started with one person. Now we run hundreds of millions.
Yeah, we try to teach the right way.
You have a gorgeous. What's his name? The Romanian guy. Radu. Radu.
Yeah.
Radu is part of your. He's in Romania. I met him. He came to Rome. Yeah.
Yes.
He's a gorgeous soul. Use each other, but we see Sandor set you up because he speaks Romanian. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should not be part of your structure anymore. He helped you. We help people to set up different languages, like the way Paul Rayner is doing from Spain. He's doing everything with the Cash Foundation, with the teaching and the German side, but he's German. This thing, we want to be, because when you speak the language, not you learn a language, when you speak the language as a mother language, the emotion of attachment goes to the essence of the language, which is beauty. I can learn as much English as I like, but I'll never understand it totally, even I lived there for 30 years. So you Romanians or the Chinese or whatever, you have to be in charge of your own, all the affairs of the Cash Foundation and yours, because you know what it means, what it does. We have a gorgeous woman with us. What's her name? Stephanie from Ukraine.
Yeah.
She was sitting with us on the table a few months ago with Caroline. Says, you know something, Caroline? I've been here for so long in Italy. They say something, the Italians, and they laugh. I stand there and says, this doesn't make a meaning. Why they're laughing? But when you ask them and they explain the history, the knowledge, and the emotion behind what was said, you understand you can never be Italian. So you Romanians have to do it yourself. The Chinese, everybody else, try to take, because this is the discussion we had with Giovanni in past day. Giovanni wanted to do a very quiet, just the Italians to come to the center because he put it on the Italian Cash Foundation. I said, no, the Italians across the world, the Cash Foundation opening and has to be on the Zoom, the same as anything else, has to have a live broadcast, because then the Italians across the world will come to it. They know there is a Cash Foundation in Italian, they can go to it. So doesn't matter where you are, we don't have any more borders. We are Romanian in Switzerland or in Tehran, you're still Romanian.
Correct.
So take over, do it yourself, because this we're trying to, this what you said, you're Romanian but in Switzerland. So this is exactly where the ethos of the foundation goes. You're one nation. You live in a different, but you speak a mother language, so it doesn't matter where you are, you're still supporting the mother language, which is Romanian.
Yeah. My question, Mr. Cash.
Yes.
It is, I build a cup with the double wall. I nano coat inside, and I put inside I think I have a big percent of zinc oxide. And I
Yeah.
drink water. I drink energized water from this gauntlet what I made for 4 or 5 months. But now I figure out from this cup when I breathe, all the saliva in my mouth is changed to sweet menthol. And, yeah, and what's happening there? And because it's not just me, the board from Norway with what we tried. He tried to build the Cash Foundation in Norway there. I took the cup, he was with me, and I said just breathe and see how it is, and he had the same taste like me, and I don't know what's happening there. Can you explain?
Nothing. So it means you haven't learned anything from day one. We've been teaching you. That's why you don't know what's happening.
But I know it's plasma there, but where?
Wow. What is it? What did you use? Zinc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zinc is connected to the emotion part of the brain.
Yeah, that is the sweet. That way is why.
Yeah. Why is it sweet? Because it shows the balance of the intention. Sweetness to us, it means balance. It's accepted. You understand?
Yeah.
That's why when you use systems specifically, you got to see what you're looking for. It's if Alex is online, he'll tell you something very strange. We discovered, I spoke with this before, with the cups we took out of our cups about 5 or 6 years ago. If you get the right ratio of a zinc, CO2 and CH3, the sweetness becomes sexual arousement. It becomes like Viagra. Understand? It's the sweetness of the pleasure. And Alex was telling me, when I make it, for me it's okay, but others they can't, there's a problem. I said, because they don't understand. You look at the expectation of the recipient's emotion. So when you make a cup, zinc cups are usually happy cups.
Yeah.
If someone's got a depression, because you make a cup with zinc and let them to breathe from it, put a straw in it, you'll find out the change, because you raise the level to take more, to become more giver, and the giving is sweet, is happiness. Yeah? Depression is the fear. So you change the level of the emission. You increase the maggrav on the magnetical side, which is the giving side, and that brings man happiness, and then you come out of depression.
About this depression, Mr. Cash, I sent with the same guns and the north of Norway, because of the darkness there, we really have problem with this depression. And the guy told me the depression disappeared. Yeah, they have very good result with this car.
Of course, now you understand the science behind it. Because this is what do you call it? You understand the materials and their connection. That's why I chose zinc and copper for the existence of the man. You see, if you look at if you take the amino acid which is created by the interaction of the zinc and copper, you will find out the energy received is energy of tranquility and peace, because it's a balance, because it's near enough. When you introduce iron, you see the redness of the blood.
I made it already. That. Yeah.
And you've seen the blood you make?
I see it, and I have picture.
Where does it go? Where does it position itself?
Just to go to the bottom.
Yeah, but how does it go to the bottom? Back to the CO2. And how does it shape? How does it move? What's the movement of it?
Yeah, it's like if it's not wind, if you for example, if you in one room, and it's the doors and everything is closed, then it's like it's flowing, like something like that.
Because it creates a field which is pushing the CO2 in motion. It gives it the motion. It's very nice. A lot of people don't observe this, but observe. Take your pictures when you're making a blood or hemoglobin from the zinc and iron, and look at what happens to the structure on the top with the amino acid. It looks like they cramp up, they're in suffering, they don't want to give. Before it's very open.
4 months, 3 or 4 months ago, I was doing this by accident. I make it the blood, and I didn't know what it is from the beginning. But after that, I understand from you it is blood.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's see what we learn more. But that's the whole purpose. Zinc is to do with the emotion part of it. For a lot of psychological, psychosomatic, you always use the energy of the breathing. As I always said, in the cups I produce, we use the air for breathing, for the emotional part, and the energy of the same zinc in the liquid goes to the physical, because in the physical part you need zinc, which interacts with the sexual organ, which brings the pleasure balance between reproduction and the emotion. The two serves the physicality and the emotion, and that's why you're happy.
Mr. Kirsch, I want to say something more, and you, if it's possible to say if I'm correctly or I'm wrong.
I don't know. You tell us.
I'm thinking about that. I see from the teachings, from the man, the right hand is the magnetical and the left one is gravitational.
This is what people would like to talk about. I don't know. Therefore, if that's the case, man should be walking sideways on his side with the hand on the floor.
What I want to say, what will happen?
I want to ask you a question. Is it the same with a foot? Does the energy come through one foot and goes through the other?
What I see it, the foot from the left side and from the hand from the left side are gravitational, and the foot from right side and the hand from the right side, they are magnetical. My idea is coming to me, and I have to try, have connection with one doctor, and we should try like that. We should put the right hand where is the pain, and the left hand we should put in salt water with zinc, and we should see if is this if we taking out energy or if we putting with the help of salt and zinc.
Let us know, please, when you do. I know the result already.
Yeah.
I tell you, if it makes sense to you, you got to go back. When you're a child, when you start your first independent motions, you find out that you don't move both the left leg and the left arm together. You move the left leg with the right arm, like a commandos. And then when you go further, you find out that then you connect the left foot with the right side of the brain, because it does the same thing in the emotional level as was done in the physical level. That's why our left side is responsible for the right and the right for the left, because it brings the balance of the emotion in respect to the physicality, but in opposite direction line of the transformation of emotion and physicality. It's very, very strange, because one is the mirror of the other.
I will try to think very good about that, and when I have
think very, very good before you do it. Very, very, very good.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's working, and I'm pretty sure it's working because it is part of us. And yeah, but I will search more to that, and when I will have a good result, I will say to everybody what they.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kesh. I really appreciate all what you're doing for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you
What
so
time
much.
is it? 12:50. You're welcome. Any other question, or shall we finish?
Hello, Mr. Kesh. I'm Angelo, and I'm also from Romania, and I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
Hello. I have a question regarding one colleague of us, and he's now my patient. He has a big trust in me, but
are you a medical doctor?
No, that's my question. He has a disease, the ALS.
Yeah.
And I know that you and some other people from the foundation have great or big knowledge about this disease, but I'm not very trusting myself, so I can guide him well. He was by me, and I offer him some zinc patches, and we make together a health cup with CO2 and zinc GANs in it. Also, we will make a breathing tube. Maybe I will show you if I can.
Because I asked him,
Pardon?
it's okay, you can share it because there's nobody online.
Okay. Just a moment. I'll try to share. I cannot because the host has stopped it.
Rick, can you give him access?
Okay.
Okay. So I made a
No, you gotta share your screen. We see you on the side. I see you on the small window on the side. You have to share a screen.
Should be set at spotlight.
Okay, let me do that here. There we go.
Okay, thank you. So I make this kind of tube, which is a nano tube, and I nano coat it on the outside. I isolated it here with shrinking tubes and some other things to the inside to be not nano coated, and I made a
spring
copper coil. I nano coated too, and this coil will be on this tube on the outside, and the whole thing will be in the third tube to isolate it, and then I think he can breathe from this tube, and I have to gas coat.
Okay, you know, you show a huge lack of understanding of this disease.
Yes, I don't know. So
I explained to you what it is. You got to understand. Read the paper I've written. I will try to get these papers released. There are a lot of people wanting the papers to be released. I've written the paper. It says ILS is more or less with a MS, both of them, is the death wish which comes true. Why do you want to die? Because it means you want more and you cannot receive it in emotionality, so you take it from the physicality. That's why you see the paralysis of the arm and the leg and the rest, because the energy created for them, now you want it to satisfy your emotion. So ILS is a emotional pity me, I need but I don't get, so I'm hitting myself. You see those children who say, Mama, if you don't give me the sweetie, I'm gonna hit my head against the pillow. Yeah? Or if you don't give me the thing, I'm gonna kick the boat or whatever. I kick the ball or the dog. It's a emotional ransom of the mother through physicality. I don't get what I want, the dog gets the kick. But unfortunately, these people, they don't get what they want, so they kick the dog, but the dog is their own body. So they take physicality away from it. By elevating their emotion or trying to do it, because they have linked up to take energy from physicality, their physicality slowly goes, what do you call it, not functioning, because they're taking all the energy which is for physicality to satisfy the emotion. You have to understand people with ILS internally are forever consuming energy of pity me. I need more because I didn't get enough. I need more because I deserve more, but nobody sees it, so I take it from myself. So they create a condition of paralysis and death. You have to understand what is the cause of taking, where the hunger comes from, the hunger for need for the confirmation of existence. It's no use you building him there. We built so many systems for ILS person. I have an ILS case where I stopped. After that, I realized I'm just wasting my time. The gentleman on the death was literally dying. A lot of people know about this case. Wrote to me, "There's no use living, blah, 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 and it's not there. I'm not doing anything. I'm getting worse, and it has not worked." Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I listen.
The picture gone, yeah. So, strange enough, the brother writes to me, just by coincidence, writes to me, "Thank you very much for helping my brother. He has a wonderful life." I said, "I'm just going to send you the copy of the email I received from your brother." And he called me back. He said, "Mr. Kesh, I apologize. We've never seen him so good. He is the center of all the family meeting. He's so happy. He's spending all his time with his children," and the rest of it. And I thought, what am I getting fooled? I've become the replacement for sucking energy. You can never satisfy people with ILS because they have one target, and that's me, and I have to receive everything. If I not, I kick the dog. The dog this time is my own physical body. You got to see what it comes. They have lost once. Now the second time they're not going to lose. So not to lose the same repeat of the past, they take from their energy internally. That's the physicality. Look at when you go into snow. You fall in the middle of an avalanche in the middle of the snow. What happened to you? The body goes in the mode of reducing energy to extremities to guarantee the survival of the need of the energy in the heart, that it can support the physicality. We call it hypothermia because there's no blood going, because all the blood is needed for the heart to guarantee the operation, existence of the emotion. These people, that's what they do. They take every energy from physicality, and that's why they die in the shape they die. You have to understand what's the reason. And the thing is, once you find the reason, they know the reason, they move it, because this time they still haven't seen. We see ILS now in a very large number in high profile sport people. Why? Because the other, we are not in their head, but literally what they do is, the other guy was bought for 10 million, the other guy is bought by 12 million. I'm going to get 14. If they go around and trying to get 14 to be better than the other stuff, them to be the center of attention, and they can't get it, I failed, I'm no good, I should have got 14, I want to die. We see a lot in sports, heavy, expensive sports. You look at the list of ILS people who are coming public. You don't see them at the 3rd division, 4th division footballers, which are all the players around the, you know, they pay to be a member of the 4th division to play in the football in England. We see it on the elite, who they value themselves more. They didn't get it. They see themselves as a failure because they couldn't get 14. I want to die. I'm going to take everything from myself. ILS. We see a huge number of ILS in American Actress Society. They come from the most backward villages across America. They get themselves what they call Hollywood makeup, which is they get their feet, the teeth done, their face done, and the only thing they end up to acting is in blue movies. They can't get a front #1 seat to be. They see themselves as a failure, and because they know what the failure means, they told the whole family, we're going to Hollywood to become famous, but the only thing they ended up is in God knows what movies, and they was abused by the people, and they don't see it as a success. What do they get? ILS. I'm taking everything because I came to give, I didn't been given, so I'm going to kill myself. I'm taking everything from physicality because emotionally I gave everything, but it doesn't come. So now we understand the process of ILS. And don't bother with these people to help them by physical pipes. Bother in supporting them to understand why they are the takers of their own life, their own energy. And if they understand it, for the time they understand it, then you can give them a pipe, otherwise you're wasting your time. Let them go to the root of their own problem, they help themselves. But if you're making a pipe, it not work, because inside he's eating everything, you're just supporting the emotion to eat more. That's why we stopped the probe, because now we understand it, we can put more into other diseases than you understand what's the work of the Keshe Foundation. We try to find the reasons for the diseases that we can help. So we've seen it, 4 or 5 cases, we can confirm it. That's all it is. Ask are you there? Are you listening to me?
Yes, of course.
Okay, ask him 2 questions. When you get sad, do you laugh or do you cry? And then if it's laughter, you understand, and if it's a cry, you understand. The laughter is to give. You can help those people. The one who cries, pity me, I need attention. But the laughter is worse, because then, look, I'm the center of the attention, I need all your energy, so I die faster. If you go to the process of Stephen Hawking, who's he's an ILS for years, and you see the pattern of his work, and we quote him with whatever is in the papers, we don't need to repeat it. You understand, he has to be the center of attention, otherwise he sees himself failure, because he failed twice, and he caused it not through handicapness. He's getting the same attention that he stole from himself to be the center. But unfortunately, when you are young, you get an ILS, because it's a physical condition of the emotional condition, the physicality can carry it through, so you become paralyzed, and then the body get used to it, you can live 40 years. If you get it at the end, the physicality is weak after the age of 50, 60, it cannot support all this giving, you die very short life. If you get ILS after the age of 60, 18 months or so is your average life, because physicality can't support such a sucking of energy to the emotion.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Does he cry or does he laugh?
I don't know. I will ask him.
Make him laugh. Tell him something to laugh, and then you see what happens.
Yes.
And then you give your answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you for your support.
We've done a huge amount of research in ILS and MS, and I stopped it about 3 years ago, because everything is very apparent. You got to understand, when they go paralyzed, they get worse, because now they're in the wheelchair, they're the center of attention. You have to push them, you have to pull them. And we say, oh, it's hard you're talking about this way. No, because it's the reality. Now they sit in the seat of kingship. You are not inside to know what is getting satisfied. I read you, I don't have my mobile. I wrote this to an ILS guy who's been waiting for a long time for me to support. And I told him, when you understand what you are trying to do to yourself with me, I'm not there for you to be a sucking of your energy. When you find out the reason you put yourself in that position, then I can help you, because you helped yourself to it. Then you have to be honest with yourself. And you see them, they just get up and walk. It's a pity. There is no difference between ILS or ESLA and ADHD. ADHD is attention-seeking hyperactivity, yeah, and it's the same, attention-seeking paralysis. It's all attention, seat of kingship, but both is one for public, the other one is for private. For me, inside myself, in my cage.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you very much for today. We call it a day. Please support the Keshe Foundation, the opening of the Keshe Foundation in Space Institute in Italy, in Italian. Please, people in the background, Vince, Richard, and Stanley, make sure the broadcast goes live. Join the Italians. We don't understand Italian is not the reason. They didn't understand English, but they supported the Keshe Foundation in English. So, to become as one. So, please, it's congratulations to all the Keshe Foundation, congratulations to Italians. We are committed to Italy, as we said before, We support the center. We're putting as much investment in Italy as we are doing in Africa, more or less. So it's not that we are in one position. We support in every state. We do the same soon in other countries. They worked very hard, and I don't think anybody deserves to be the head of the Keshe Foundation Italy teaching than Giovanni. He's been there for the Keshe Foundation, and I congratulate him and Fabio and the rest of the Keshe Foundation, especially in South Italy, who supported him and he supported them. This meeting on Sunday, the opening of the Keshe Foundation Special Institute in Italy, to start the teaching courses, has taken a lot of legwork from Giovanni. He's traveled the whole breadth and length of Italy in the past few months, and he did not even mention it. We had to hear it from the others, where he's been. He Saturday, Sunday in the bus up and down Italy to make sure the teaching of the knowledge is equal across Italy. Now he has to do it across the world, teach the Italians in Spain and the Italians in America and the Italians in Australia and the rest of the world. Wherever you go to Italian pizza restaurant, Giovanni has to teach, and they're all over the world at the moment, from China to South America. Congratulations, Giovanni. We call it a day. Thank you very much for today. But understand one thing. We have started the peace process in the wrong way because we took for us physicality to be satisfied. But now we understand we have to give, that it can give to those who need to be elevated. Giving in the level of the soul, giving for the peace, not giving just to take what you need. The way you target, you want orange, you can give to elevate the soul of the man for peace. Now all the reactors is across the whole, millions of supporters of Keshe Foundation. Thank you very much for today, and hopefully we see each other. We'll be with you on the Italian opening, and hopefully if we get a chance, we welcome you into the Keshe Foundation family of the teaching in Italian. But I'll warn you something very interesting. The Keshe Foundation teaching in English comes across very few scientifically educated minded. The Keshe Foundation Italy teaching comes from the teachers who understood the plasma technology and are highly educated scientists, doctors and highly professors, educated people. I think it would be nice that if the Keshe Foundation, instead of translating everything to the different languages, to translate the Italian teachers into English, that we all can benefit by it. I know most of the teachers who are going to teach, and I have high respect for them. They are highly educated scientists, doctors, professors, and we have to learn a lot from them because they bring the merger between the plasma and the traditional. This is something we understood so much when we had Dr. Elia Kostova with us. She brought the traditional medicine and we've added to it. Most of these scientists on the Italian language have the benefit of both because they had to do it in their own language. And I think it'll be good for the Keshe Foundation worldwide to start translating, especially the Chinese teachers who are highly educated, and Italians, because I've seen the list of the teachers. It's beautiful. Highly educated people with a lot of knowledge in what they do, and then a huge knowledge of the foundation plasma work. But I warn you that very stubborn, the Italians, they will try to teach their own teaching and a little bit of the plasma, so you have to remind them. They're very, very nice scientists. A lot of them we know personally. Thank you very much for today, and don't forget, the mission is peace by sharing, by giving, not by taking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. Okay, that will end it for the 105th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's Thursday, March 17th, 2016. And once again, thank you everybody for attending. End the live stream now.